Okay, we're going to start by preparing our paper for a reduction drawing. And so we're going to get out our drawing board and then our drawing paper. And the drawing paper is the one that was torn out of the pad. To tell the front and the back, you want to grab the side that has the tooth to it. So one side is smooth. You want to make sure the smooth side is down. And then what you can do is you can use the clip if you have one on one side. If you don't have a clip, you're going to tape all four sides of it down. So the best thing to do is use some masking tape. I have blue painter's tape, which works really, really well as well, and try to make it go straight across, maybe about 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch. So feel free to use your ruler to do that as well. So this paper is really good paper, but also it is kind of thin, and so you don't want to ruin it by being too aggressive with it. So you want to make sure that it's taped down, because since we are erasing it, you're going to want to be very kind to it. So you can use like regular masking tape, tape all four sides of it down. Some of the other tutorial videos do not have you doing that, but I recommend that you do. So I'm going to go like this. Oop, oop, oop. See? Same kind of mistakes or same kind of mishaps you might have, I get to have too. So I'm going to do this on the edge that is where you would tear it off later, so that we have a nice clean edge here. So I'm going to put this down as straight as I can, and I'm going to let it go underneath this clip. Just try to get it to lay flat. It's a little off, it's off. Okay. So tape all four edges down. Okay. So let me get that all ready for you. Camera doesn't want to focus because it's just a plain sheet of paper and it's afraid that it's not catching anything. So then what I want you to do is get out your charcoal, and you'll want to grab one of two things. You're either going to want a paper towel, right? Or maybe an old t-shirt that you've cut up into rags, okay? And so what you're going to do is you're going to take the charcoal and you're going to start in the center and work your way out. And I'm just using the side of it. Okay. And then I'm going to go the opposite direction. And then you're going to kind of smear it to make a nice consistent value. So you can see why I told you might want to go to an alternative location to do this. So you might want to go outside. You might want to go to a room that can be dirty, like the garage, right? Because there's a lot of dust that's created by this. Right? So I'm just kind of like going all over this. Maybe go up and down. Right? Maybe use little circular motions. What I want to do is have a nice even tone. Right? So I want it to be nice and dark across here. Now that looks pretty good to me. Right? That looks pretty good to me. sometimes what I'll do is I'll pile up this charcoal and then I'll take it to a trash can and then I'll just put it in the trash can. You know, at school, you might just like blow it onto the floor, but at home, you probably don't want to do that. So you just take it to a trash can and then I just shook it off and now it's good. I like mine to be really even. And so sometimes you might even want to go over it one more time in both directions to get a nice dark black tone. I'm not too concerned with this being perfectly black because we can always go back in to make this darker when we're actually creating the values. But you just want kind of a nice, even, dark tone. So just kind of repeat the process, go over it. Right, kind of let this collect. And I will tap off the rest of it. And now I've got my surface. So when you are working, I would keep this rag unless it's making a mess of where you are, because sometimes it's nice to use that dark to kind of go back in and fix and maybe like use it as an eraser, because you are actually going to use erasers to draw. So you probably have, if you kept it, this pen eraser from Drawing 2. I have an older one here by Tough Stuff, which is the same thing. So it has a small little eraser that's good for drawing things out. If you lost that, maybe you have like a pencil cap that you could use. You could obviously use a big eraser for big areas. And you can use a kneaded eraser, which I gave you in your art PPE. You can use that for just minor little details or minor little value changes where you're like picking it up to do it. So I don't have any subject matter in front of me right now, but let's say I was going to do fabric. What I could do is I could use the pencil eraser, right, to kind of draw in like the basic values or basic details, I should say. So I'm kind of like go in there and, you know, add in some creases or whatever. And so I can draw in with this. Once I've drawn things in, let's say I made a mistake and I need to make this wider, I can take this dirty thing and I can basically buff out the line so that I can fix my mistake, right? I can use this little eraser if I have like little areas of value, but I really prefer to use the bigger eraser so that if I need big value changes, I can. And I can use gradation, so I can really go in here and erase to get it to go white again. And then I can ease up on the pressure and even kind of smudge that eraser to get like a gradual transition. So you could see that if I was going to do like a fabric fold, it would gradually, and then maybe I would have another light line. Okay, and like I said, if I had to go back in, I could always add some black back in to have that detail like kind of push out, and I could smudge with my fingers or maybe the blending stump that's in my art PP. Okay, so if I wanted just to take a little bit of value off, I could use the knead eraser to be real subtle, right? And it wouldn't, you know, that would just take off a little bit of it rather than being aggressive with like, let's say, this big eraser. Okay, so go ahead and experiment and see what you come up with.